Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including more price increases, why Tesla has to open up their supercharger network soon, FSD 11 updates, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, Tesla is in the process of expanding insurance outside of the US for the first time. Originally, Tesla insurance was only available in California, but now it is expanded to many other states and includes a real-time driving data program to determine rates. It uses the Tesla safety score so that the higher the score, the lower your premium and vice versa. This program is now available in 12 states and all use the safety score aside from California. Tesla insurance has succeeded in large part because Tesla is able to offer lower rates than competitors, which typically charge high premiums for Tesla vehicles. Tesla offers a lower price in most cases, which allows the cost of ownership to be lower for a Tesla buyer, and in turn helps bring down the cost of insuring a Tesla across the board. Tesla says that the average driver should save 20 to 40% on their premiums compared to other competitors. Those with the best scores could save between 30 to 60%. Tesla is still very much expanding in the United States, but CFO Zachary Kirkhorn talked about expanding to Europe, saying, "As we make more progress rolling out in the States and each incremental state becomes a little bit less effort than the prior, that's when we'll turn our attention to the Europe market. We might be able to do that by the end of the year, starting to get work on Europe by the end of the year. We'll have to see how we progress in the US." He talked about that in 2022, and it seems that Tesla has now reached that point. They're still only in 12 of 50 states, but they're beginning the process of expanding to the UK. Quote, "Elon Musk's automotive company is seeking to open a UK branch of its Malta-based insurance business, filings to Companies House show. Tesla is in the process of hiring a lawyer to their London headquarters for their needs here, so this is a small step that could lead to a lot of insurance expansion. For Tesla owners in Europe, this is a great first step that ultimately should lead to a lower insurance price. Long-term, analysts have said that Tesla insurance could become a top 10 carrier. It's another part of Tesla's business that many forget about but continues expanding each day." Next up today, Tesla's pricing has been fluctuating to the point where we may want to chart it out like a stock soon enough. Last year, we saw tons of price increases, and then right at the beginning of 2023, they dropped all of their car prices significantly. The most notable one for many people was the $13,000 drop the Model Y saw, going from $65,990 all the way down to $52,990. That was for the base model in the US, the long-range all-wheel drive Model Y. All of their other cars dropped significantly as well, but very shortly after, when Tesla orders were surging, Tesla began raising the Model Y's price in small increments yet again. We saw the long-range model go up by $500, but at that point we knew Tesla couldn't go above the $55,000 price cap in order for their car to qualify for the new tax incentive. Since then, though, that cap has been rightfully increased to $80,000, classified along with other electric SUVs, which in turn means Tesla really only has to worry about pricing in regards to customers. There's no cap aside from $80,000 that they need to stay below as long as people keep buying their cars. Well, shortly after that change, Tesla raised the Model Y's price by another $1,500. So today, the Model Y long range starts at $54,990. Just this week, though, the performance model saw another $500 increase, bringing that car up to $58,990. At the same time as well, Tesla is beginning to sell the standard range Model Y with 4680 cells. They are only offering it in inventory, and the base price of that car is up to $51,990. This is almost exactly what I predicted would happen when I saw the standard range model and long range vehicles priced in a fairly similar spot. Now they are differentiated by $3,000. I won't be surprised if that continues growing, and we keep seeing small price increases until Tesla sees demand slowing. While the Model Y, Tesla's most popular car, has been increasing in price significantly, little by little, oddly enough, the rear-wheel drive Model 3 has been going down. It was just reduced by another $500, bringing the base price of that car to $42,990. They still have yet to introduce the long-range Model 3 again, and the performance is sitting at $53,990, just $1,100 below the tax credit MSRP price cap for the Model 3 as a sedan. It's very interesting to watch these price changes and also frustrating. Ultimately, it was very exciting that the Model Y was again starting at $53,000. Now it's back up to $55,000, and I won't be surprised if it just keeps increasing like this. It's really just how Tesla responds to demand and ultimately makes sense but isn't fun. Over in China, Tesla has been doing the same. They first slashed vehicle prices there before for the US, and now the Model Y price is increased by 2,000 won. That's a small increase, and it brings the starting price of the Model Y standard range down to 38,577 US dollars over in China. Technically, that's a very different model than the standard range Model Y shipping in the US, but that's around a $13,000 difference there. It's very interesting to see that, and it shows how Tesla could potentially drop their prices, and also how productive their Shanghai factory is. We'll likely hear more about scale and how scaling will be the main driver of lowered prices on Tesla's Investor Day on March 1st. At this point, especially since the main price drop has occurred, it's a little easier to take the plunge when deciding on Tesla's purchase timing, but that said, we still have no idea what the future may hold. I personally expect Tesla to keep raising prices again until they start seeing demand slow, but we'll have to see. It's interesting to see them continually dropping the price of the rear-wheel drive Model 3, and that could simply be to clear inventory of that car and increase demand per usual, or to clear inventory for their new refreshed Project Highland model. We've seen these covered up Model 3s for a while now, and they're expected to change at least a few things on the exterior, even as the main changes relate to manufacturing. Next up today, one of Tesla's biggest advantages remains their supercharger network. Early on, they understood that their cars could only be as good as the chargers to charge them, so they have been working on expanding their incredibly reliable and fast charging network for years. They continue expanding this network each day with many new stations coming online each week, and it still sets them significantly apart from the competition. In the United States, all other EVs rely on third-party chargers and are unable to use Tesla superchargers. Unfortunately, these chargers are a night and day comparison to Tesla superchargers and often have issues charging. I've experienced this, and it's frustrating to see. In order to help this, Tesla has been talking for a while now about opening up their supercharger network to all EVs. In Europe, they've already done this with 15 different countries. There are some logistical concerns as to how a shorter cable length will reach other EVs, how you will plug a Tesla charging cable into a CCS port, and more, but it seems one of those questions has been answered by Tesla's Magic Dock. This will release a CCS converter locked to a cable when charging a non-Tesla. As for how they will handle cable length, cars faced different directions, and more, we're not quite sure. We're also not sure how Tesla will handle congestion, or if them opening up their charging standard for anyone to use is their ultimate plan. It seems that would be the ideal and a better solution for all cars, as their charger is much smaller and more powerful than CCS, but CCS is becoming the US standard regardless. Even though this has been talked about for some time, we have no date as to when this change could happen in the US, but now Tesla may be forced to open them up. According to a new Reuters article, quote, "The Department of Transportation next week is expected to finalize a requirement that will pressure Tesla to expand beyond its proprietary charging equipment in the US and add the charger used by its competitors. If Tesla doesn't open up these chargers, they will be left out of the $7.5 billion in subsidies that the government is planning to spend on charging infrastructure. They plan for 500,000 EV chargers in the coming years, and it's a big part of their climate plans since, quote, a dearth of chargers on US roads has slowed the growth of EV sales and the positive environmental impact, advocates say. Charging infrastructure is a huge concern for EVs. Nobody wants to buy a car that they can't be free to drive where they want to." As pointed out by Reuters, Tesla has expressed their intentions for a while now. In January, they wrote the FHA offering charging suggestions. In Ohio, they responded to a request to submit charging proposals. In Arizona, they told the state they were open to upgrading its chargers or building new ones to meet the federal requirements. Last month, Elon Musk met with White House officials discussing their charging program, and ultimately, in July of 2021, he specifically said that the point of the supercharger network was not to create a walled garden and use that to bludgeon our competitors. That's pretty clear that while the supercharger network is a huge exclusive benefit of buying a Tesla right now, they don't intend it to be that way forever. As of right now, state officials say they have heard from Tesla and that they're keeping the door open, but they haven't made a commitment. However, Tesla will be required to make changes if they want funding here. It seems very logical that Tesla will do whatever they can to access these funds. They lowered their vehicle pricing recently in response to the tax credit so that their cars would qualify. Even if they could run their business with the exclusive network and do pretty well, it doesn't seem to be their end goal. In opening their supercharger network, though, they are going to face some difficulty. Quote, "It's definitely a balance for them. How much potential federal subsidies for expanding their network versus maintaining that competitive advantage on charging. It will also be much more challenging to manage a network of all EVs. Right now, Teslas will automatically route to a less congested supercharger, so all Tesla vehicles are helping manage congestion in that way. Most other EVs will operate with less data there, so this could lead to significant congestion. The Department of Transportation is finalizing these requirements shortly, but one big one is that CCS will be a requirement. Tesla proposed their superchargers should qualify if they are co-located with CCS chargers that work with other cars, but reportedly, the administration didn't consider this proposal. There will be other minimum requirements for funding, and then any company that meets these will have access to funds. Here's hoping there are very strict requirements for uptime and reliability of chargers from third parties. I'm very curious to see what Tesla does here. I think they may prioritize new chargers that include their Magic Dock and then convert some underutilized chargers to this system, but we'll have to see. Next up today, an update about Tesla Vision. In 2022, Tesla removed ultrasonic sensors from their vehicles, which essentially meant that Park Assist, Auto Park, Summon, and Smart Summon were, quote, limited or inactive for an unknown amount of time. Essentially, since then, Tesla vehicles have shipped with no parking sensors, a feature standard on almost all cars today. Tesla said they would be added back in the near future, but we're still waiting on that update. However, some signs are pointing to an update coming soon there. A few weeks ago, a salvaged Tesla started showing distances to objects with its ultrasonic sensors detached. Salvage EVs posted a video of a 2018 Model 3 running a software version from last September with all the ultrasonic sensors disconnected, and it was showing distances on the screen. They covered up the cameras on the car, and sure enough, the distances disappeared, indicating that the cameras were replacing the USS functionality here. This is what we've been waiting on Tesla to ship on their cars with no sensors. So this could be a confirmation that Tesla Vision is being tested by Tesla to detect nearby objects, but only on vehicles that still have USS as a backup. The two systems may have been working together for a long time, and they've been collecting data across their entire fleet. Then over in Poland, someone doing a test drive of a Model 3 found the same thing. This was a 2023 model, so also did not have ultrasonic sensors, but it was still detecting objects and distances. We're not entirely sure how this is the case, but it could finally point to Tesla being close to restoring this functionality with an update to non-USS cars. This is an essential update, so I really hope we see this soon, and that it somehow manages long-term to perform better than cars with these sensors. In a similar boat, Tesla's FSD Beta 11.3 has been scheduled to be pushed to testers later this week. When asked recently when the new single stack would be released, Elon said version 11.3 single stack goes to limited beta this week, probably 11.3.2 before wide release in North America. Then we adapt for EU roads and submit to regulators. 90% of what we've done so far for North America applies worldwide. So the update will be pushed to a small group of people. Tesla will use feedback to make adjustments, and then the wide release will become available very soon. This is a version we've been waiting on for a while now, so I hope this update brings some big leaps in software. Regarding the sensor suite for FSD and Autopilot over in Europe, Tesla has been approved to sell the Model S and X with hardware 4, also known as Autopilot 4. This would be their updated computer and camera suite to take Autopilot and FSD to the next level. TFF, a German Tesla forum, posted that the Dutch Vehicle Authority, RDW, issued a European type certificate dated January 20th and includes introduction of Generation 4 Complex Vehicle Control System Autopilot as one of the approved items. It's been suspected for a while now that hardware 4 would first roll out on the Cybertruck or the Model S and X, so this approval makes it very likely it'll come soon. Since the Model S and X are built in the US for all markets, once this arrives in Europe, it should arrive everywhere. On Tesla's Q4 earnings call last year, Elon said a retrofit wouldn't be necessary for hardware 3 owners, so it wouldn't be offered. It's unclear if in the future this new hardware will have capabilities that hardware 3 owners simply can't access. I'm guessing that long-term there will be some differences. Last up today, some updates about other automakers. Ram has officially announced their first electric truck, the Ram 1500 EV, in a press release. They also announced that production will begin next year and said, quote, the vehicle will be formally revealed to the public in the coming months. Ram's CEO says that he believes they have started a revolution even though they are late to the game. On Sunday, they ran a 1-minute Super Bowl ad accompanied by new photos of the production model on their website. Definitely exciting to see, but it's one of those concept EVs that I'll be much more excited to see once it's actually in true production. Subaru has unfortunately recalled 1,182 Solterras because the wheels could fall off. The Solterra is built on the same platform as the Toyota BZ4X, which had the same problem, but it looks like the Solterras simply got shipped with under-torqued hub bolts, caused by a single third-party contractor that didn't complete the repair procedure for the last recall properly. While this is a small repair and seems to be a similar fix to what the Rivian recall was recently, it's definitely not a good look. The BZ4X and Solterra have had quite the rough launch, and it may prove to be something that hurts Toyota's efforts long term. Over at Ford, they've announced a new LFP battery factory in the US in partnership with China's CATL. This will be a $3.2 billion factory located in Michigan and is a huge part of their EV efforts. They plan to have capacity of 35 gigawatt hours and 400,000 vehicles per year output starting in 2026. That would supply about 20% of Ford's goal to produce 2 million EVs in 2026. According to Electrek's math, Ford plans for the batteries to be about 87 kilowatt hours each, which is smaller than a Ford F-150 Lightning and bigger than a Mustang Mach-E standard range. This is great, but also demonstrates how far behind Tesla they are. Tesla should be producing about 2 million EVs this year, and Ford is aiming for it and setting up supply for it by 2026. Ford has specifically outlined that they will offer 2 different battery chemistries, NCM and LFP. Tesla does the same and uses LFP in standard range vehicles, so others are following suit with the advantages those bring, including cost, availability, and lifespan. During the Super Bowl, multiple automakers ran ads featuring their new EVs, spending around $7 million per ad, but as is becoming a trend, Tesla actually saw a spike in trends as a result. They don't advertise, but their Model Y ended up in a Popeyes commercial, Elon Musk was shown at the game, and more. We'll likely see the results, but more than likely, Tesla is seeing an increase in orders right now because of the Super Bowl. Customers see exciting EVs, realize most aren't actually for sale, and then check out Tesla instead. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see where you can get a $26,000 Tesla Model 3, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.